Hello, everyone. This is Heartwoods Haven, and I am your host, Brandy Swords. And we have a special guest today, Melanie Swisher.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for coming on today. Like we just said, a
Yes.
little bit of mic difficulties, but we are here, so it's good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So this is a safe space. I'm just going to ask you some questions. But to start out, can you kind of introduce yourself and just let us know what you do?
Okay, yeah. Well, my name is Melanie Swisher. I am a social worker, and I am the executive director at the Paint Valley ADAMH board.
Awesome. How long have you worked there?
I think I've worked there about 7 years and been the director. I think I'm in my third year of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
So, what inspired you to be the mental health advocate?
What inspired me to be a mental health advocate? Well, I think I've always had an interest in mental health. I can remember in college just thinking that I would never be lucky enough to work in mental health, which cracks me up now that I think about that.
Yeah.
But my first job was a social worker at the Floyd Stamano Clinic, and I think that the folks that came there seeking help and they've really just have a special place in my heart. And so I think about them and just about anything that I do going forward. And I just, there's times actually when I left there, they put together an album for me. And so sometimes when we're working on tough projects, I'll just take those pictures out and just stick them on my desk so that just to remember, like, it's so worth it. Like, I wish I could just take that experience and these like amazing human beings and just like give it to other people. 'Cause sometimes people just have such a mixed up idea of what it's like to have I don't know. It just, yeah, but I think I always like to keep them front and center in my mind.
That's amazing. What, how has your personal experience with mental health shaped how you approach mental health? Has it changed over the years from the beginning till now?
I mean, I can remember when I was a little kid and hearing adults talk about if depression was even real or not. Like
Yeah.
back in the dinosaur ages, I guess now, like it was such this odd concept. And honestly, like
Yeah.
adults that I grew up around, they had these beliefs like if you went to a therapist, it made you sick.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then, when I first came to this area and started working in behavioral health, I had no idea, right?
Yeah.
So I completely just sort of cut my teeth as a social worker in the behavior health field and super grateful for that. And then I think when I came to the ADAMH board, it helped me to have a more expanded view of like, I get to learn a lot about prevention and then like the SUD work that, I was able to learn more about that once I came into the ADAMH board. But yeah.
Well, and I think you're right because that's how it was. I think back in the day, everybody did not talk about it. And they're like, oh, is it real or can you just get over it? And I totally
Yeah.
agree with that because I heard a lot of that, where people, my parents and all that are like, why can't you just get through this? Why does
Yes.
everybody have issues? Is depression real? Why are they just not snapping out of it? So I understand that completely because
Yeah.
that's what we've always heard and dealt with.
Yeah.
So it's concept. So I love watching your videos because you like to hike.
Oh, I do.
And
I love hiking. Yeah.
I know that's amazing. So how does that play into your mental health? Does it help it? Like, how'd you start to walk?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I think like, I always want to have some goal that I'm working on and I'm pretty much over going to college, right? I think I did enough of that degrees and all that good
Mhm.
stuff. So I don't know. I kind of had an interest in that. I always liked being outside and outdoors. Um, and I just developed an interest for the Appalachian Trail. So after I had that first overnight hike on it, I was like, I'm just gonna like. I kind of thought that I would one day want to be a through hiker. So a through hiker is someone that will hike from the beginning of the end in a 12-month period. But so I kind of had this idea that I would just keep expanding my time out there and see. But I definitely don't think I want to do it. I like being a section hiker. I like just working on it when I can.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think as far as mental health, I do think that like I mean, I think just exercising in of itself is helpful, right? And so is being in nature. So you combine the two. No, I really don't think you need to hike 23 miles to get a mental health benefit, but
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. But
Mhm.
yeah, I love it. I mean, I love it. And I think there's something about doing something like that that helps you to just like, I don't know, like believe in yourself and just
Mhm.
like kind of get you out of the rat race, so to speak, and just like, I don't know, let you be you. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah. And like the first time, were you scared? Like, how did you feel when you first did it? Like, you do it by yourself?
So the first time I did it with somebody else. So that was helpful. It's just funny because the first time we did it overnight on the Appalachian Trail, our packs were so heavy. We did like 3.5 miles, but we did climb two mountains, and you would have thought it killed us. Like it took us all day, And then like my last hike last year was like, I feel like I did, I don't know, I may have done like 20 some miles in one day. So, but
Yeah.
of course I didn't have a full pack. So
Mhm.
that's the difference. But as far as like my first solo hike, yeah, like it was scary. I definitely prayed, out of necessity of like, oh my God. But I'm really used to it now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing because I think it's amazing. It's got to be empowering. But I'm
Mhm.
thinking, okay, what about all the animals and stuff? I guess it's one of the things you just overthink it. I would have to be like, okay, it's fine. Because I'm like you. I love nature. I love grounding, doing all these different things. And I've always wanted to hike like that.
Yeah.
So you really inspire me because I'm like, that's amazing that you're getting out there and it's got to be just peaceful. And just,
Yeah.
I'm like you, finding yourself and being strong for yourself. I mean, I love seeing the journeys. That's amazing that you're doing that.
Well, you just need to come with me sometime.
Yeah, that's why I tell Lynn all the time, like, we need to go. Because I have no clue. You can read about it, research it, but when you
Yeah.
experience it, it's when you really get it. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So how many times do you hike a year? Is there you just randomly do it or
I did a lot last year. I hit 200 miles in one year last year. Now this
wow.
year I'm in March and I haven't been out yet, but I'm going this weekend. And
Oh, well,
I
that's perfect.
Yeah, I can tell I need it. Yeah. But I've got a lot of other stuff going on this year, so it might be a little bit of a slower slower year for the miles, but yeah, I don't know. I
Okay.
go as much as I can.
Yeah, well, and so it doesn't matter if it's snow, ice, sunny. So you just go either way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um I'm now I will tell you, I mean, ice, I do have some things I can put on my boots to help with the ice, but I
mhm,
haven't slept outside when it's been like bitterly cold.
mm,
And I'll tell you it really in the summer sometimes you got to watch with water sources and stuff. So like the best weather, is just like 70s, but you
mhm,
can't hit that. You just got to go. Like if I have something planned and it rains, now if it was lightning, I would probably try to not go cuz that could be
mm.
dangerous, but anything else I pretty much I'm out there.
Wow. So you just take everything in your backpack. Now you've kind of learned, like you said, what you
Yeah.
need, what you can take, and then you just stay out there and then you just hike back the next day. Is that what you do?
No. So that the only time I ever did an out and back was that first time cuz there's like Uh, I want to say there's like 2,200 miles of the Appalachian Trail, so I don't have time for double up. So what I do is I park my car where I want to end my hike, and then I pay somebody to take me to where I start my hike.
Oh,
And just depending on like this weekend, we're not gonna. I'm going with a friend, but we won't sleep in the woods. We're gonna do about like 12 miles one day, and then 11 miles the next day, and then we're gonna stop and then go get a room and then go back.
okay. I wonder because I was like, how is she doing that? I'm like, she must be doing a lot of walking. So I
Mhm.
wondered how that worked. Oh, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a really cool community around the Appalachian Trail too, which also is something that is just so cool. So like anywhere I go, I can find somebody who's a shuttle driver, and you just always meet like the most interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you start? Where's your starting point that you usually start at?
Well, I start somewhere different every time
Oh,
because I'm trying to get the whole thing done.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like this weekend, and I don't give specifics before I go out, but this weekend I'll be in Pennsylvania. Um, yeah.
That's exciting. I mean, I'm like you. I always have to look forward to something or have a goal. And I
Yeah.
love that you're doing that because I think that's so empowering. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, honestly, if you want to go with me, I have extra equipment. We can try to not do like too many miles because,
Well,
sometimes,
yeah, I definitely need like the 101 kind of information because I'm like you, like, what do you pack? What do you do? I'm
yeah.
one of them, I ask 1,000 questions because I'm like, I don't know. I love it and I want to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I just don't know. Well, hey, Lynn, welcome. I
She's,
can't hear you, Lynn. I don't know if I can. Let me
she's
try.
on mute.
Um.
She's on mute.
Oh, okay. Can you hear us now?
Oops,
Oh,
she left.
she's gone. I lost her camera and that. I'm not sure how to get her back in there. Maybe she'll come back. Yeah, she
Awesome.
was on mute. I tried to click it and then her camera disappeared too. So, okay. So, the other thing I want to talk to you about is I seen like do you write poetry? Do you read poetry? Like, I'm like, I love that. So, how does that work?
Well, yeah, I do. So when I was a kid, I did a lot of poetry. I mean, like, I was kind of silly, but so I went through a divorce about a year and a half ago, and then after that, I was kind of on this big mission to just like fully love myself. And I think the way that I approached that was like taking care of my inner child, kind of deal.
Yes.
And so, like, I just started doing some of the things that I loved as a kid. And one of it was the poetry. And then I thought, well, this is a really good way to, like, because, you're always told journal to help you. And I just was not into journaling, but like the poetry in a way was like journaling for me. And then I just felt like I just share it. And then it seemed like when I did, like, people would just reach out to me and say, hey, that really helped me. So then I just kept
Mm.
sharing. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I think it's amazing people can write poetry. And I'm like you. I'm always trying to find different ways because I'm like, I took all this advice. Let's journal, let's burn things, let's, hike. So I'm kind of trying it all. And I always like, it depends what mindset I'm in. I'm like, yeah, I can journal one day, or I just want to throw the journal, or I want to walk. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, so I'm glad that you do something like that.
Yeah.
And so what challenges have you faced in your line of work?
Oh my goodness. So like my current position and like my whole career as a social worker, what are we talking about?
Let's start with as a social worker in general. What do you
Okay.
face with that?
I think I think as a social worker, young social worker in direct practice, I didn't yet know what I didn't know, but I knew I didn't know a lot. Okay. So I think that I kind of would fall into this trap of working in a different stage than a client. And um, so one thing that I hear sometimes other therapists say is they say never work harder than your client. And I don't agree with that. I think that's bullcrap because we're getting paid to work. But I think the better way to say that is never work in a different stage of change than your client. So if your client is in contemplation and you're over here in action trying to get them to, you're going to feel really frustrated, like you're hitting your head against the wall. And I think my early years as a social worker, I really didn't know that. So I couldn't understand why I was trying to help somebody in active addiction, and I would, make the appointment for them and get them to the appointment. And by the time I'd get back to my office, they'd be back to my office. Well, I was at a different stage of change than they were. So I can remember days like that. And then I think the thing that could be a little frustrating in behavioral healthcare, and whether you work for a provider or you work for more at the meso level, is just we're at the mercy of like a lot of changing things. We don't know what the next budget cycle is going to bring us. um and sometimes, like I talked to a therapist the other day that she was like, yeah, I loved community behavior health, but to keep us funded, we have to go after all these grants. And then we had all these hoops to jump through. So I just went and opened up my private practice. Well, I mean, that's great for that person, but we have such a need in the community for like
Yeah.
highly trained clinicians. But the system is complicated. And and we need parity. We need parity. We need in any other healthcare system, Medicaid is not the greatest payer. It's you, the private insurances. But in behavioral health care, Medicaid is the payer you want, and it's not necessarily always an adequate payer. We
Mhm.
need our private insurance companies to have parity in behavioral health care. That, I mean, because think about it: if you are working and you have a job and you have private insurance and you need behavioral health care, but it doesn't pay and you don't get those services, then what happens? You then you can just slowly lose everything. So then you're on, then you're at this place where then you qualify for Medicaid. But how about we help people to stay well and to get treatment early? And then honestly, I'm very concerned because now there's been a cut in Medicaid, and our behavior healthcare staff are having to spend so much time trying to advocate for payment of these services that they're providing, and when that all those time and resources could be spent providing care. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't think the community understands that, like you have a full continuum of physical care, right? And
Mhm.
some physical illness is chronic and severe, and you have a full continuum in behavior health care as well. And some behavior mental illnesses and substance use disorders, they're chronic and they're severe, and they require really.
Oh no, I think I lost you. Oh no. Well, I think we lost Melanie, so she's going to try to come back in. So she will join us in a minute. Um, but yeah, we've had a lot of difficulties today. We could not get Lynn in. And here comes Melanie again. Are
I'm
you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's happening is when people call me, it's kicking me off. So someone just
Oh,
called
I
me.
wonder. I was like, hey, we're all having difficulties. I couldn't get Lynn in. So
Yeah.
no, so we're
So
good.
I think what I was saying is sometimes people think I just heard today somebody use a term of a service, if it's just marginally beneficial, why are they doing it? Well, I don't think they understand the seriousness and the complexity of the illness, right? Because that would be like if somebody had, I don't know, a severe pancreatic cancer or severe heart disease. There's it's complicated, but that doesn't mean that we're not providing the best service we could provide. We just, you know, not everything is fixed like that, but some things are.
No, and I agree because there's a lot of people that are worried about their like, what if I can't get the help? Because, like you said, I mean, what if you're a diabetic? You need that medicine.
Yeah.
You need these resources, and it's hard when they start cutting things back and the insurance and all this. It makes your guys' jobs harder because you're losing a lot of different things. And then people always talk to me about that. How do I get services? What if I can't continue? What if I can't do this? It's
Yeah.
very frustrating and it is very hard.
It's complicated, and I think a lot of times we don't familiarize ourselves with how to seek help until we're in the middle of a crisis, and then it becomes even more complicated. So we really just all need to work together to try to help improve that access to care.
I agree. Hey, Lynn, can you hear us? I don't, I still can't hear you. Well, I'm not sure. Well, yeah. So the biggest thing is, I love that you come on here. I love that you're doing what you're doing, and it's about taking care about yourself, mental health, and doing what you're doing. I know Lynn wanted to ask a couple of questions. We're not sure what's going on with the mic, but she wanted you to talk about like the crisis center. When it's coming, kind of details. Just let the community know what it is.
Oh, okay. So we received a grant to build a crisis center, and it is scheduled to be open. Well, the construction should be done at the end of May, and it's going to have three primary programs housed there. We're going to have a 23-hour observation unit. So that is, it's kind of, think about it like it's a little bit like a ER, but for behavior health care. So,
Oh,
right now when people have a behavior health care emergency, sometimes they're in the ER and that's not really the best place for them. And sometimes, um, they could be next to somebody having a heart attack, right? So they're going to come and just meet with behavioral healthcare professionals who are going to assess the situation. And if they need to move on to a hospital, they're going to help them with that transition. Maybe they don't need a hospitalization. Maybe they can do the CSU unit, that'll be the next program I'll talk about, or maybe within 23 hours, that situation resolves itself. But they're going to be in a place designed for behavior health care emergencies and meeting with behavior health care clinicians. And that's also a place, because another situation that we have is we have our first responders spending a lot of times trying to help people in a behavior health care crisis. So this is designed that law enforcement can stop and do a quick warm handoff and then get back on the road and protect our communities. And then the other program is a crisis stabilization unit. So that is really kind of similar to like a Floyd Samanel sort of. People will stay there. They'll have close access to staff. They'll have therapy. They'll have medication. And, if somebody in the CSU decompensates and needs a higher level of care, they can quickly go to the 23-hour OBS and then be placed in hospital. And then the other thing we're going to have is our mobile teams will be housed there. So we currently have MRSS, which is a mobile response for youth. And so they will be housed there. And then we're working on standing up a mobile adult team. And so that will also be housed there. And then it'll also have, where people can just come and say, hey, I need to talk to somebody.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
all the things you're offering. What is it going to be called?
Oh boy. I'm probably going to get the name a little bit wrong, but we named it after Dr. James Hagan. So Dr. James Hagan started the crisis services here in our community. He's really a pioneer. And so it's the Dr. James Hagan Crisis Care Center, I believe.
Okay, I know. That's why I had to ask, because I'm like, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's with services being provided by Coleman Health. So Coleman Health is one of the crisis leaders in our state, and they are going to they're already doing the mobile adult and the mobile for response for youth. So they have helped us every step of the way with this building and having input, and they'll be providing the services. But yeah, we are naming it after Dr. Hagan, who I think anybody in the behavior health field knows and loves Dr. Hagan.
Yeah, that's what Lynn's like. Yeah.
Lynn does. Lynn can definitely hear us. We just can't hear her.
Good. So is this going to be like 7 days a week, 24 hours a day?
Well,
limited hours or what?
I don't know what it'll look like when it first opens, but the goal would be to be 24/7. And of course, a CSU unit would have to be 24/7. So,
yeah. Okay, I wondered. And now, where is it located at?
It's on County Road 550 in Ross County. So, if you would get off of 35 and like go towards Frankfort, it'd be right there on your right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we've seen the picture, so we're excited for that to come. And I'm like you. I think our community needs it. All the communities need it. So I'm amazed that they're bringing all these things here and helping us.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yes, exactly. So are they just working hand in hand with everybody in the community, like your office, all these different people getting involved?
Right now it's really construction, right? So it's just the construction company. But as far as the services, it's gonna have to, yeah, they'll be, we're gonna have to meet with, so Coleman Health will work with the law enforcement so they understand the process. There'll be, crisis meetings to say, how are things going? How can things be done better? Yeah.
Okay. Well, and last question, Lynn, I don't think you can hear us, but we can't hear you. So is there any advice or tips that you would give someone that is struggling, or any steps, or just anything in general?
So I think if somebody was struggling with mental illness, I would just like to say that, mental illness is very real, but but what it tells you is often lies. I think that we can be in places of depression where we don't feel like we're loved. And I think the scary thing is you could feel like you're never going to get better. And I think it's hard to believe, like it's hard to want to get help when you're in a place where you feel hopeless, right? Because hope is so important. If we have hope, we'll carry on. So I just think if you're listening and you may feel hopeless, like I just want you to know, like there have been people who've experienced that same feeling, and please don't give up, because you just never know. You can get better, and there are people who love you and who care about you and they want you to get better. I mean, we have such an amazing recovery community in these 5 counties, and just so many supportive people who actually care. And I know, like, we're living in a time where it may feel like there's a lot of people who don't care, but I promise there are people who really do care. And you know what? We need to make sure people know about 988. So if you're not sure where to turn next, pick up the phone and call 988. You can also text 988. You can chat 988. But please, like, reach out and don't give up, because sometimes it might be that first time that you seek help that you get what you need, and sometimes it might not be the first time, but please just don't give up.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. That's very important. I agree. Just reaching out, going through it, because we've all been through it. That's why we're all here and what we're trying to do, and create that safe space, bring awareness, and just help the community. So I agree. So at the end, like I told you, we like to kind of do like a dance off. So I just play music. You can dance any way you want. We've had all kinds of fun with this. Yep. And then just thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for everything. And definitely I'll be reaching out, because I definitely want to hike. So.
Oh, good. Yes. And I think I'm just going to enjoy watching you guys dance.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear. So I'm just going to put it on there, dance. And thank you so much for everything.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's looking good. I see Linda. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.